Hello, hello. Hi. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's surviving okay. That's a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in sunny Sharpsburg, Georgia at Mike's Magic Auto Detailing and Paint Enhancement here in Sharpsburg, Georgia. Oh, there we go. Coming right in, coming right in. How about that? How about that? And once again, folks, oh boy, everybody, hey, somebody's watching. It's not telling me who it is. You're probably wondering, why is Mike sitting here once again looking at a photograph on his laptop? It's not a picture like the computer says, it's a photograph. I was told you draw pictures and you take photographs. Since I didn't draw this, then it must be a photograph. But anyway, hey, give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down. Say hey in the comments or something so I know who it is that's watching. But anyway, the reason we're looking at this photograph, this is the current project we're working on, this 1996 Nissan 240XX with a pitiful, and I mean pitiful, aftermarket paint job. Looks like it was put on in somebody's backyard. You know, they made little to no effort to keep the grit and dirt out of it. Zero effort to remove the orange peel, it looks like to me. And then it looks like after they sprayed the base coat. Hey, Jason from Texas. All right, brother. It looks like they just sprayed right over the top of dust with that and didn't wipe the panel before they did it. So a lot of these defects you're going to see are so far down in the paint, they're not going to be able to be removed. But I think we're going to be able to get most of them, which I will show you in a few moments. What I wanted to do, if this thing will let me, is zoom in a little bit. And if you bring this up, and I'll post these later where you can isolate them in your program and look and just see just how bad this paint is. Look at all that defects right there. That's terrible. I mean, all this stuff. Look at all that, would you? Man, that was horrible. So what I had to do was, my original plan was to hit it with the 3000 grit damp sandpaper, which I did do. It helped in a lot of places, but other places didn't even touch it. Didn't even touch it. So I had to do was drop down in a few large spaces there, to some places even to 1000 grit, to even get down to that stuff that you see here. And then, of course, once you do that, then you have to step back up to a higher grit and reduce those sanding marks, because when you go down to 1000, 1500, something like that, it is my opinion you are not going to be able to compound those scratches out. So you have to wet sand them to a manageable degree, which is what I did. So I spent damn near a whole day wet sanding that damn hood. How about that, huh? That was something else. Oh boy. And then I compounded it. As you can see inside the tape line here, that's just from compounding. And I'll show you what I used here in a moment. And then we compounded it with something else. Oh, bad paint, both, Jason, both. The fellow that owns this, he had to go out of the country for a year, and it sat out in a driveway untouched for over a year. That was part of the problem. The other problem was a pitiful paint job, but you can see right in there where I compounded And you can see if you look back over here, the sanding marks that were left, that's normal. And actually I had done the initial compound on the whole hood, and when you do that with a wool pad or a hybrid pad, you're going to leave some hazing like this. That's normal. You can't go after a high shine. And then I used another product with a different pad. I'll show you that here in a minute. And got that right there. And then I improved it a little bit more. And whoops. Yeah, there you go. There you can see where this is when I was getting ready to do the final polish. That already looks pretty darn good, don't you think, Jason? But I did a final polish, and I'll show you what I did used to accomplish that, and now the entire hood has been done. So let's walk out to the garage and I'll show you my results, Jason, since you seem to be the only one watching today, which is okay. It's okay. I'm thankful for every person that watches. I don't think my customer has gotten into position. But anyway, this hood is 95% done, Jason. The only thing that's left is when I get through with the entire car, it's getting that DPC Pro ceramic coating on it, which there are still some defects left. Like I say, sometimes you just can't chase perfection on these paint jobs because the paint jobs aren't perfect and you're only going to improve them to a certain degree. And you have to understand that. Before you even start. So, what I did, and you can see a lot of my sandpaper, wet dry sandpaper, all that stuff's laying up there. And a lot of the sanding I did with an orbital sander. A lot of it I did by hand. And then I came back and with my rotary, which is laying out yonder somewhere, I used compounds, 2 different compounds. With one of these, it's a Lake Country hybrid wool pad. And then I used a Lake Country low profile wool pad. Uh-oh, that one's starting to separate on me. Yeah. Then, after I did both of those over the whole hood, and I started out using this. Y'all have seen this before if you've seen my previous video. Darn good stuff. It's a deep cutting compound for severe sanding marks and that kind of, and deep defects. And then I graduated up to, it's out, my pad's outside drying in the sun where I've washed it. I used this stuff, which is not bad stuff. It'll correct severe paint defects. I did that after the compound to get rid of some more of the scratching and the haziness and all that was left by those wool pads. They will do that. All right. And then the final polish, I used this stuff, which is some stuff I just started trying to use in place of my Sonax Perfect Finish, which is also really good polish. But this has even a lesser cut to it than the Sonax Perfect Finish, and I wanted very little cut so I could get that high gloss that you're seeing there, remove any leftover haze marks and that sort of thing. Of course, with the fast correcting cream, this stuff here and that stuff, I put the rotary away and I got out my Max Shine Pro level. It's a 15 millimeter throw dual action buffer. Excellent tool, reasonably priced. They seem to have very good customer service. So that final polish, it left a little bit of protection behind, Jason, which is where part of that shine and gloss is coming from. But that paint, I guarantee you, that hood right now is as good as it will ever get as far as prep work goes. That's as close as it's going to get. As you can see, there are some, I don't know if you see them or not. I can see them live, but there's still a few, like there's a defect right here where something chipped the paint. And there's some dimples in it, like right there. I think y'all might can see that, where there was a problem when they actually painted the car. You cannot, it's too deep. Too deep, you're not going to be able to remove that. Most of the grit that was in this paint is now gone, although some still remains. I mean, like, for example, I can see some right there. If I get up close, catch the light just right, and you will see some there. I don't know if you can see this. There's some little, those are little bubbles in the paint, probably from dirt, where they painted right over dirt. They didn't wipe the panel and prep it before they sprayed it. Nothing I can do about those, nothing. Well, this is not Nissan paint, Jason. This is an aftermarket paint job. It looks like a backyard. It's like somebody painted this thing in their backyard or something. I hope to goodness some shop didn't do this. And you can see if you look close where it's still kind of bumpy and orange peelish looking in certain parts. But that is so deep down, you know. And my paint thickness gauge showed very little paint on this hood. So I dared not go too deep, because then you'll be removing all the clear coat, if in fact there is any. I think Mako would do a better job than this, Jason. I think that Mako does a better job than this. But although there are some defects left, if you'll flip back earlier in the video and look at that photograph, came a very long way. And as I said, the last step when I'm finished with this whole car, getting it ready, will be applying the DPC Pro Shield ceramic coating. It does, Jason, have some filling capabilities, because that stuff is pretty thick. You know, it's almost like a really light syrup, for lack of a better description. And it will help to fill some of those defects, the lighter ones, and it will increase the gloss and shine tremendously. And then once it's cured, I'll go back and put the DPC armor over the top of it, which is a top coat designed just for the DPC Pro Shield ceramic coating. And then it'll look fantastic, and the longevity on it will be years as opposed to months, which is what you would get with a wax or a sealant. And it will help to protect this paint further, maybe keep it from getting any worse as time goes by, prolong the life of this paint job as poor as it is. Kind of reminds me when I was doing my car chasing, it was a Mako paint job and not a very good one. But even it, I think, in most places was better than this. Who else is there? Who else is there? But I'll try to keep you guys updated. I've already started working on the roof. Hey, Mr. Matt, the same deal. Same deal. You need to go back, Matt, and look at the photographs of this hood when I started on it. I can see some little bit of scratching right there when I catch the light just right. But it's too deep, can't do anything about it. Sometimes you're just stuck with it. But I've already started on the roof. You can see where I've been doing some wet sanding here. And that's what you want, is this uniform white haze. Yeah, a lot of people start wet sanding and they freak out. They go, oh man, I'm screwing my paint up. I'm screwing my paint up. No. But as you can see, like here I had dropped down to, I think I used 1,000 or 1,500 grit sandpaper here. And there are still nibs in the paint that will not remove, and they're not gonna remove. And there's some defects here. You can see that are left behind. Even though this paint is flat, When I run my hand across it, it is perfectly smooth, which tells me these are not coming out. And sometimes you don't want to chase that, because then you end up either getting the paint way too thin or you end up going through it all together. So you have to go very slowly and very tediously on this stuff when the paint is as thin as this paint is and as poor a quality as this paint is, so that you don't remove the paint. You could see like right in here, I don't know if y'all can see that orange peel and bubbling up right along there on that edge. That will not remove. That's been wet, very tediously wet sanded as well. But what I'll have to do is come back now that I've done the heavier grades, and I'll give this when I've done the whole roof, because you know what, this section and this section will most likely have to be treated differently than this section. It's like every section is almost a different set of problems, that the solution over here may not be the solution over here. So you just have to go slow and treat each section on its own. Like, I don't know if y'all can see it, but there are some cloudy spots in this paint job, which I will try the least aggressive first, which is the 3000 damp sandpaper with the orbital sander, and then clean up my work and see what I have. And it may be that there are only certain spots that I will have to go back and correct further, or maybe the whole section. It's just one of those things. I have to remove what's on top and then see what I need to do next. And then we'll be back to compounding, polishing with degree oats, and then the final polish, just like we did on the hood. Oh boy. This is a small car, but it's still going slowly. And some people ask me, so, you know, what is your biggest secret, Mike, when you're doing this stuff? I always tell them patience. Patience, 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 and diligence. There are no quick fixes when you have a paint job like this. None. If you got a really good paint job, it's not that bad to start with. Yeah, the whole process speeds up tremendously. But this is not one of those paint jobs. I mean, I've had newer vehicles, well cared for vehicles, where all I had to do was what we call a one-step, you know, and it cleaned right up. It was good to go. But another thing is, don't chase perfection. You are not likely to perfect any paint job beyond us to 100%. It's probably not going to happen. What you have to do is look at that paint realistically, and when you get going on it, understand what you're going to be able to accomplish and what you're not going to be able to accomplish. Always start with your least aggressive methods and products first. See how that turns out, because you can always go more aggressive, but if you jump in hip deep to start with, going with your most aggressive method or product, you cannot back up. Then you're stuck. Hey, Miss Lisa Brown. Good to see you on here today. I hope this finds you doing well, Miss Lisa. But yeah, the hood's all done, Lisa, except for, as I was saying earlier, when I get through the entire car, this will get a ceramic coating, as the whole car will. Special coating for the glass, all that stuff, and it will then get topped with DPC armor, which is a topper designed to go on top of the ceramic coating. And as good as this gloss is right now, which is damn good considering how pitiful this paint job is, that will enhance it even further. And as I said, that ceramic coating has some filling capability, so some of the defects that have been left behind by necessity, some of those will be filled to a certain degree, which will help. The flatter the paint, the better the shine, or gloss as we like to call it in this business. But I just wanted to catch you guys up, Miss Lisa. If you'll go back and watch the beginning of this video, I was showing some photographs on my computer of what this hood looked like to begin with. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Oh boy. Almost 2 days of work on the hood. And more to come when I get ready to do the ceramic coating. Just goes to show you how tedious this kind of work can be. But you know what? It's cheaper than a $5,000 paint job. It is. Okay, guys. I do appreciate you. I appreciate you a lot. If you're watching on YouTube, hey, consider hitting that subscribe button for me. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down. Make a comment. They tell me any kind of interaction helps me out. But if you subscribe on YouTube, you will be notified of further updates on this project and of other projects that are up and coming. And I have a number of those waiting right now for me to finish this one. They're just going to have to wait. I don't get in a hurry. I don't finish till it's finished. Same thing as my company, Jason. Same thing as the company. I'll try to remember to send you a link to it, okay? And probably somewhere on my timeline there's a link. I have a business page as well, Jason. All right, guys, I got to get back to work. I'm probably here in a little while going to have to drop that door down, as bad as I hate it, and turn the air conditioner on in here because I'm looking at the temperature gauge. Not for me. The heat don't bother me, but some of these chemicals and pads and stuff outside a certain temperature range, they start not to want to work well. So if I end up turning the air conditioner on, it won't be for me. It'll be on account of my products, particularly your compounds and polishes. Outside a certain temperature range, they will work, but they work slower. They're more difficult to utilize. And what happens, you have to shrink your work area. You know, like the stuff I'm using now, I would do a 2x2, 2x3, 3x3 area without any problem. When it starts getting up close to 80 degrees and the humidity goes up a little bit, then you have to shrink that work area down, and that slows you down even more. That's why I put heating and air in my garage for those opposite ends of the temperature spectrum to avoid it slowing me down and not working as well. Okay, guys? All right. I will see you guys later. Thank you very much.